We're going to kick off the week strong with This Week in Freight, powered by my friends over at DAT. You guys, again, we do a 3 times a week lane analysis out there. It's just what I do personally inside of my operation to help read freight markets, because the rates are the rates at the end of the day, you guys. We need to be able to find those peak seasons. We need to be able to read those fluctuations to bring that stability into our customers' operations. And again, this is 100% viewer submitted. So if you want your lane broken down, email my team, podcast@thefreightcoach.com. I need shipping city, delivery city, trailer type, and that is it. And we're going to break it down. So today's lane is in my former backyard, my old stomping grounds where I grew up, Minneapolis, Minnesota, going down to Nashville, Tennessee. As we all know right now, you guys, rates are up. They're up exponentially in some lanes, but I also need you guys to understand that like it's eventually, I don't want to say calm down. It's going to stabilize. And that's the thing that we're looking for more than not in a lot of these market fluctuations that we're seeing out here. So this is 882 miles. Again, that's the first thing I always pay attention to when I'm assessing any lane out there, because day of the week that it ships vastly affects the pricing that we're going to find on this lane. So with this one being 882 miles, it's great Monday through Wednesday. Thursday, if it has to ship Thursday for Monday, Friday for Monday, again, we're going to probably see a rate increase out there. Unless you get a driver who's from Nashville, from that area, heading back in that needs to get home for the weekend, you might see some rate reprieve on that. But a lot of you out there understand that right now, it's more about we need access to the truck, okay? And if you're a broker, that's our literal job at the end of the day. And so when we're out here and we're looking at this, we can see it's up about $400 year, in the 1 year mark out there. I think that it's going to be interesting to see when more and more data comes through here over the holiday weekend. And again, this is a holiday week, no matter what. We had Blitz week. Last week was a holiday week. This week's a holiday week. We're going to see rates up there. I think we need to be cautious on how we're pricing a lot of this. Now, like I always talk about, if you have a contracted rate in there with your customer, you got to find a way to make that work, unless they're going out there and finding a rebid or anything like that. But if you're in a spot market situation, you have to tether your customers' expectations more often than not about, hey, if we're quoting this today, Tuesday, to ship Thursday, things can fluctuate out there, okay? A lot of it is when you get that truck in hand rate, it might be that rate for the next 15 minutes. So if it's a load that has to ship out today, you got to apply a little bit of pressure to your guys' customers in these situations, because more often than not, if we don't lock in trucks for our customers' freight right now, it's going to go to something else. Okay, so we have to get that locked in. We have to put that expiration on our quotes, essentially like, hey, we can lock this truck in for the next 15 minutes, because when the dynamic has shifted to where there is one truck for 7 loads, that's when you start seeing rates get added up, because you never know what your competitors are struggling on, if they've been sitting on this lane for a couple of days or whatnot. So when you're going out there, get that truck in hand, let your customer know. And this is going to be like on like a weekly basis with a lot of our customers now, because rates are fluctuating that much. And by fluctuating, I mean, they're continuing to rise out there. I think that today is going to be, potentially a rough day for a lot of shipments, because a lot of people, with it being the holiday, aren't going to want to get out on the road today. And if they do, they're going to want more miles than maybe this lane in particular has to be. But I look at this and I've said this last week, and I'm going to say this again, you guys, I think what we're seeing right now probably going to correlate into through the 4th of July. I think that is when we're going to have a very clear indicator on what is going to proceed for the back half of the year. I just think elevated rates are going to continue through the 4th of July. Again, I could be wrong. I always like to throw that out there. It's just I've seen stuff like this happen before, and we need to lock in that capacity as soon as possible and provide any and all options we can to our customer, because if not, you guys, it's going to go to somebody else. Lock in that truck, be decisive, let your customers know, like, hey, what we're seeing, it could be through the 4th of July, because a lot of these holidays start to blend in over the summer months. But that is my kind of the way I'm reading this lane in particular here. And a lot of the lanes that I'm breaking down right now is get that truck Get that truck locked in as soon as possible with your customers. And again, keep them up to date on everything that they're seeing out there, because their budgets are being blown out of the water right now as well. But that is This Week in Freight, powered by my friends over at DAT. And again, you want that lane broken down, email my team, podcast@thefreightcoach.com.